There is a divine design in relationships, a accident or mere chance. Understanding these truths empowers you to walk in love that is both authentic and enduring. There is a profound truth that cannot be overlooked when it comes to the way a woman's heart is drawn in love. She falls in love not with a facade, not with empty words or superficial charm, but a man whose character is genuine and unwavering. The Bible reminds us that a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22:"And he went." This divine wisdom points us to something far deeper than appearance or fleeting emotions. A woman senses the weight of a man's integrity and the steadfastness of his soul, even when words fail or circumstances change. True character is revealed not in moments of comfort but in trials, in how a man stands when the winds of life blow fiercely against him. It is in these seasons that the fruit of his character, the qualities of faithfulness, humility, and righteousness, shine brightest. Women have an innate sense of spiritual discernment that recognizes a heart rooted in truth and goodness. It is this genuine character that invites trust and awakens a longing to be near, to walk alongside such a man through life's journey. The world may offer fleeting attractions, wealth, status, or charm, but these are like sand slipping through the fingers. A character built on solid ground remains enduring and faithful. When a man is consistent in his principles, when his actions align with his words, and when his heart is transparent and sincere, a woman's heart is drawn irresistibly. She longs for a partner who will stand firm, not only in the joyful seasons but also in hardship and uncertainty. This is not merely a matter of moral uprightness, but a reflection of spiritual alignment. A man whose character reflects humility understands his dependence on God and others. He does not seek to elevate himself but to serve and uplift. His strength is wrapped in gentleness and his leadership is marked by love. Such a man is a refuge, a shelter where a woman's heart finds peace. Moreover, genuine character involves a heart that listens, learns, and grows. No one is perfect, but a man committed to continual growth, to facing his shortcomings with honesty and repentance, demonstrates a level of maturity and depth that draws a woman in. She sees in him a man who is not afraid to be vulnerable, who embraces change and strives to become better each day. This openness to transformation speaks of a soul alive and responsive to the divine work within. There is also the aspect of faithfulness, not just in romantic relationships, but in all things. Faithfulness in small tasks, faithfulness in promises, and faithfulness in commitments reflect a character that a woman can rely on. She can trust that this man's love will not falter like shifting shadows, but will remain a steadfast flame. This assurance kindles a deep affection, for love thrives where trust and dependability are found. It is important to recognize that genuine character is never built overnight. It is forged through the quiet disciplines of integrity, patience, and humility over time. A man who walks this path does not seek to impress outward show, but to be authentic at his core. Such authenticity is magnetic, and a woman's heart responds to the authenticity of his being. In the final analysis, the reason a woman falls in love for this first great reason is that character speaks the language of the soul. It transcends superficial attraction and touches the eternal within her. It resonates with her deepest need for a partner who reflects the image of God, a man of honor, strength wrapped in gentleness, and a heart anchored in truth. To walk in genuine character is to walk in alignment with God's design for love and relationship. It is to live in a way that honors both oneself and the woman entrusted to one's heart. This is the foundation on which lasting love is built, and it is this foundation that captivates and holds a woman's heart with a love that endures beyond the fleeting moments of this world. Would you like me to expand the other keynotes in the same way? Certainly, here's an expanded version combining the second and third keynotes: emotional security and vision for life. In about 600 words, flowing naturally and with the spiritual depth you want, there is something profoundly powerful when a woman feels safe and secure in a man's presence. Not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. True security goes beyond a roof over her head or financial stability. It is a deep, unshakable assurance that her heart is guarded with care and respect. When a man cultivates this atmosphere of safety, a woman's soul is drawn into a place where love can grow freely. She is not afraid to reveal her vulnerabilities, her fears, her dreams, because she knows they will be met with understanding, patience, and protection. This kind of safety is a sacred space where trust is born and nurtured. This emotional security is a reflection of the man's inner strength, a strength that is gentle and wise, not harsh or demanding. It is a strength that does not seek to dominate but to protect. The Bible calls the husband a head and a covering, a role that requires humility and responsibility. When a man embraces this role, he becomes a refuge for the woman's heart, a shelter from the storms of life. In this refuge, she can rest, knowing that her worth is honored and her feelings are valued. The absence of judgment or rejection creates an environment where love flourishes, because love cannot grow where fear and insecurity reign. Equally vital is the man's vision for life, the clear, godly purpose that shapes his every step. A woman is naturally drawn to a man who knows where he is going, who carries a vision that extends beyond himself. This vision is not merely about career success or personal ambition, but about a higher calling that includes the well-being of others. It is a vision that embraces family, community, and legacy. When a man walks in purpose, he inspires passion and hope in the woman's heart. She sees a future with him that is full of promise, direction, and meaning. Purpose ignites a flame that attracts her soul because it speaks to the deep desire for partnership in something greater than individual desires. It is a shared journey toward God's plan, a mission that calls both man and woman to contribute their gifts and strengths. This kind of vision brings clarity and confidence to the relationship. It dispels uncertainty and creates unity because both hearts are aligned toward a common goal. Without such vision, love can waver and falter, but with it, love is anchored firmly in hope and expectation. A man who knows his purpose walks with authority and humility, making decisions that reflect wisdom and care. His life is a testimony to faith in action, and this inspires a woman to commit her heart fully, knowing that together they will build something lasting and meaningful. Security and vision are deeply intertwined. The emotional safety a man provides makes space for a woman to believe in his vision, and his vision fuels the strength and patience required to maintain that safety. Together, these two reasons form a powerful foundation for love that endures through every season. When a man understands that love is not just a feeling but a responsibility, divine calling to protect, provide, and lead with humility, he walks in a way that draws a woman's heart to him irresistibly. She sees in him a partner who will stand firm in the face of trials, who will nurture her soul, and who will lead them both toward the fulfillment of God's plan. This is why women fall in love with a man who offers not just promises but a life lived with purpose and a heart that creates safety. It is a love that transcends the superficial and touches the eternal, rooted in the very nature of God's design for relationships. Would you like me to continue with the remaining keynotes in this style? Certainly. Here's a 600-word expansion combining the 4th, 5th, and 6th keynotes, speaking life and blessing, actions reflecting love and humble strength, crafted in a spiritual, impactful style. The power of words in love cannot be overstated. A man who speaks life and blessing over a woman does more than just uplift her. He shapes the very atmosphere in which love grows. The tongue holds the power of life and death. And when a man chooses to speak words that build, encourage, and affirm, he aligns himself with the divine principle of nurturing. His speech becomes a source of healing and hope, a balm to the soul that invites a woman to open her heart fully. In contrast, harsh or careless words create walls of defense and sow seeds of doubt. Love is nourished by words that reflect respect, honor, and genuine care, forming an unshakable foundation for intimacy. But words alone are not enough. Love must be demonstrated through actions that speak louder than speech. A man's deeds, his faithfulness in small and great matters, his acts of kindness, his willingness to serve, are the true testimony of his heart. When a woman sees that a man's love is consistent and sacrificial, her heart is captivated. This is the love described in the scriptures as patient and kind, not self-seeking but giving. It is a love that mirrors the greatest example of all, the love that laid down its life. Such actions reveal a man who is trustworthy and devoted, one who honors the sacred trust of relationship by living out his promises daily. These visible acts of love are not grand gestures alone, but the faithful tending of everyday moments, the listening ear, the helping hand, the protective stance. They echo the servant heart that leads without coercion, that loves without condition. When a man demonstrates love through his behavior, a woman's heart responds with deep affection and commitment, knowing that she is cherished beyond words. Underlying both the power of words and the evidence of loving actions is the vital quality of humble strength. True strength is not arrogance or dominance, but a quiet confidence that stems from humility and reliance on something greater than oneself. A man who walks in humble strength does not seek to control or overpower, but to support and protect. His strength is tempered by grace, making him a pillar of stability and calm in the midst of life's storms. This humble strength inspires respect and devotion because it reflects the nature of God's own strength, mighty yet gentle, powerful yet merciful. It is strength used wisely, exercised with care, and expressed in kindness. Such a man does not need to prove his worth through force or pride. Instead, his character and conduct speak for him. A woman is drawn to this strength because it assures her of protection and partnership without fear of harshness or domination. Humble strength also enables a man to lead in love. to take responsibility for his role while recognizing his need for growth and dependence on divine guidance. It is strength that listens as well as leads, that serves as much as it commands. This balance creates harmony and trust, making love not a battlefield but a sanctuary. When these three elements come together, words that bless, actions that demonstrate love, and strength wrapped in humility, they form a powerful triad that draws a woman's heart irresistibly. They reflect the fullness of God's design for love, where speech, behavior, and character unite to create a relationship rooted in truth and grace. A man who embraces this way of living invites a love that is deep, enduring, and transformative. He becomes not just a lover but a guardian of her heart, a partner in life's journey, and a reflection of God's love in human form. This is the love that women fall for, a love that stands firm through every test and grows richer with each passing day. Would you like me to help organize this into a full speech or provide expansions for any other part? Absolutely. Here's an expanded 600-word version combining the first four keynotes: genuine character, emotional security, vision for life, and speaking life and blessing. Woven seamlessly in a spiritual, impactful style, there is a timeless truth in the way a woman's heart is drawn to a man, and it begins with the foundation of genuine character. It is not the surface-level charm or fleeting appearances that captivate, but a heart that is steadfast, true, and rooted in integrity. Character reveals itself in how a man responds when no one is watching, in his faithfulness, humility, and consistency. A woman senses this depth. She instinctively recognizes a man who lives according to principles rather than shifting moods or convenience. His life reflects a steady commitment to truth, and this reliability becomes the cornerstone upon which love begins to build. Without character, words and promises become empty. With it, love finds fertile soil. Closely tied to character is the creation of a safe and secure environment, a refuge where a woman's heart can rest. This security is not merely physical protection or financial provision, but a deeper emotional sanctuary. It is the assurance that her vulnerabilities, fears, and dreams will be met with understanding and tenderness, not judgment or dismissal. When a man cultivates this emotional safety, he invites trust and intimacy, allowing love to flourish without reservation. Security is a sacred space where a woman is free to be her whole self, confident that her heart is honored and protected. This safety anchors the relationship, especially when the storms of life arise, providing a foundation that is unshaken. Beyond safety, a woman is drawn to a man who walks with clear purpose and vision. A life without direction lacks the magnetic pull that ignites passion and hope. When a man carries a godly vision, one that embraces not only personal goals but a greater mission involving family, community, and legacy, he inspires a woman to believe in a shared future. This vision becomes a beacon, a call to partnership, and a journey towards something meaningful and eternal. It gives love a forward trajectory, a hope that transcends the present and weaves destiny into every step. The clarity of vision strengthens resolve, fosters unity, and sustains love through challenges by providing a compelling reason to persevere together. While character, security, and vision set the stage, it is the power of words that breathes life into the relationship daily. Words spoken with intention can build up or tear down, heal or wound. When a man chooses to speak words of blessing, encouragement, and affirmation, he cultivates an environment where love grows strong. His speech becomes a source of hope and strength, a constant reminder to the woman that she is valued and cherished. Such life-giving words soften hearts, dispel fear, and deepen intimacy. Conversely, careless or harsh words create distance and pain, erecting barriers where connection should flourish. The discipline to speak life aligns with the divine principle of nurturing love through kindness and respect. Together, these four elements, genuine character, emotional security, clear vision, and life-giving speech, form a powerful foundation for love that captivates a woman's heart. They reflect a man's commitment not just to romantic affection, but to embodying the highest virtues of partnership and devotion. When a man walks in these truths, he reflects the divine pattern for love, creating a bond that is deep, enduring, and transformative. This is the kind of love that lasts, that sustains through trials, and that grows richer with every passing day. If you want, I can continue with the remaining keynotes or help format this into a complete speech. Would you like me to continue with the other keynotes in this style? Sure. Here's an expanded 600-word version combining keynotes 1.3 and 4 seamlessly. Respect is the result of clear boundaries. Boundaries that protect your time, your words, your emotions, and your values.
When you enforce these lines firmly, you transform from a man seeking approval into a man commanding respect. The first boundary is owning your time. Time is your most valuable asset. Men who are always available, always saying yes to every demand, show the world they lack priorities and self-respect. This constant availability projects neediness and desperation. Women sense this immediately. They respect a man who values his life enough to say no when necessary, who guards his commitments and pursues his goals relentlessly. Saying no without guilt becomes a statement of self-worth. When you protect your time, you protect your power. The second boundary lies in how you communicate. Through honesty, not noise, speaking clearly, truthfully, and directly builds trust instantly. Women respect men who are authentic in their words and intentions. Avoid vague promises or manipulative language that confuse or mislead. Honesty, even when difficult, is a strength. It shows you have nothing to hide in respect for both yourself and the woman you're communicating with. Noise, on the other hand, erodes respect and breeds distrust. When your words align with your actions and boundaries, respect grows naturally. Authenticity in speech is magnetic because it reflects a man who is grounded and sincere. Third, emotional boundaries are critical. You are not a dumping ground for others' emotional baggage. Compassion and empathy are important but must be balanced with self-care. Overextending emotionally leaves you drained, reactive, and less capable of showing up as your best self. Women respect men who listen and support without losing their center. Setting emotional limits protects your mental health and maintains your strength. It signals that you value yourself enough not to be overwhelmed by others' drama or constant demands for emotional labor. This balance of empathy and self-preservation is a powerful attractor because it demonstrates emotional maturity and stability. Fourth, protecting your values is non-negotiable. Your values are the foundation of your character. When you compromise on them, you lose respect from yourself and others. Women respect men who stand firm in their principles, who don't bend or pressure or change to please. Integrity is magnetic because it shows consistency and authenticity. A man who knows what he believes in and acts accordingly becomes a pillar others can rely on. This kind of strength creates a deep, lasting respect that goes beyond superficial attraction. It's respect for a man who lives with conviction and doesn't settle for less than what he knows is right. Time, when these four boundaries, time, communication, emotional limits, and values are in place, respect isn't something you have to chase. It comes naturally because you are living with clarity and strength. Women see a man who is intentional, authentic, emotionally balanced, and principled. That man doesn't beg for respect. He commands it by being himself without apology. Respect is never an accident. It's earned by the boundaries you set and the life you lead. Own your time. Speak honestly. Guard your emotional energy. Protect your values. When you do, you don't just gain respect, you become a man worth respecting. Want me to expand the final keynotes or weave this into a full speech? Of course, here's an expanded 600-word version that flows through all 5 keynotes smoothly and powerfully. Respect is not given lightly. It's earned through the boundaries you set in your life. The first and most critical boundary is owning your time. Time is your most valuable resource, and when you give it away without limits, you lose control of your life and your power. Men who are always available, dropping everything for anyone, especially women, show a lack of direction and self-respect. This constant availability signals neediness and desperation. Women sense this immediately. They respect a man who prioritizes his goals, who protects his commitments, and who understands that his presence is valuable because it's intentional. Saying no without guilt is a superpower. When you guard your time, feed your power. The second boundary is how you communicate. Speak with honesty, not noise. Clarity and truth build trust faster than any charm or manipulation ever could. Women respect a man who tells the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Vague promises or evasiveness breed distrust and confusion, which erodes respect. Being direct and authentic in your communication signals strength and integrity. When your words align with your actions, respect grows naturally because authenticity is magnetic. Third, emotional boundaries are essential. Compassion is a strength, but overextending your emotional labor drains your energy and diminishes your presence. You are not a therapist or a dumping ground for others' emotional baggage. Women respect men who can listen and support without losing themselves. Setting limits on emotional availability protects your mental health and maintains your power. It shows that you respect yourself enough to regulate your energy, which is deeply attractive. Fourth, protect your values. Your principles define you. When you compromise on them to please others, you lose respect from yourself and those around you. Women respect men who stand firm in their beliefs and don't bend under pressure. Integrity is magnetic because it reflects consistency and authenticity. A man who lives by his values becomes a pillar others rely on. This kind of strength commands deep, lasting respect that goes beyond superficial attraction. Fifth, demand respect. Don't beg for it. Respect is earned through action and consistency, not pleading or tolerating disrespect. When disrespect shows up, address it immediately or walk away. Tolerating disrespect is a fast track to losing it altogether. A man who commands respect does so by setting clear standards and never settling for less. This boundary requires courage and self-awareness, but it's essential. Women respect men who hold themselves to high standards and expect the same from others. Demanding respect means you won't accept anything beneath what you deserve, and that level of self-worth is magnetic. Together, these 5 boundaries form the foundation of a man who commands respect. When you own your time, speak honestly, set emotional limits, protect your values, and demand respect, you stop chasing approval and start living on your terms. Women don't just respect this, they gravitate toward it because it signals maturity, strength, and authenticity. Respect is never an accident. It's the consequence of the boundaries you set and the man you become. When you enforce these lines firmly, you transform from a man seeking approval into a man commanding respect. That respect, once earned, opens doors to relationships built on mutual admiration, trust, and genuine connection. And ultimately, it leads to the deepest respect of all, the respect you have for yourself. If you want, I can help turn this into a full speech or work on polishing any part of it. Here's an expanded 600-word passage combining all 6 keynotes into smooth, powerful flow without headings. Respect is earned through the boundaries you set, boundaries that protect your time, your words, your emotions, your values, your standards, and even your physical and mental well-being. The first boundary begins with owning your time. Time is your most precious asset, and when you give it away without limits, you lose control over your life and your power. Men who are always available, who drop everything at a moment's notice for anyone, especially women, show a lack of direction and self-respect. This constant availability broadcasts and desperation. Women pick up on this immediately. They respect a man who prioritizes his goals, protects his commitments, and understands that his presence is valuable because it's intentional. Saying no without guilt becomes a statement of self-worth. When you fiercely guard your time, you guard your power. Next comes the way you communicate. Honesty over noise. Clarity and truth build trust far quicker than charm or manipulation ever could. Women respect a man who tells the truth, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Vague promises, evasiveness, or empty talk breed distrust and confusion, which rapidly erodes respect. Speaking directly and authentically signals strength and integrity. When your words align with your actions and boundaries, respect grows naturally because authenticity is magnetic. Then there's emotional boundaries. Compassion and empathy are strength, but overextending your emotional labor drains your energy and diminishes your presence. You are not a therapist or a dumping ground for others' emotional baggage. Women respect men who listen and support without losing themselves. Setting limits on emotional availability protects your mental health and maintains your power. It shows that you respect yourself enough to regulate your energy, and that balance is deeply attractive. Protecting your values is another critical boundary. Your principles define you. When you compromise them to please others, you lose respect from yourself and from those around you. Women respect men who stand firm in their beliefs and don't bend under pressure or change to fit others' expectations. Integrity is magnetic because it reflects consistency and authenticity. A man who lives by his values becomes a pillar others can rely on. This kind of strength commands a deep, lasting respect that goes far beyond superficial attraction. The 5th boundary is demanding respect, not begging for it. Respect is earned through consistent action, not pleading or tolerating disrespect. When disrespect appears, address it immediately or walk away. Tolerating disrespect is the fastest way to lose it altogether. A man who commands respect does so by setting clear standards and refusing to settle for less. This boundary requires urgent self-awareness, but is essential. Women respect men who hold themselves to high standards and expect the same from others. Demanding respect means you won't accept anything beneath what you deserve, and that level of self-worth is magnetic. Finally, maintain physical and mental boundaries. Respect your body and mind through discipline over what you consume, physically and mentally. This means not just exercise and nutrition, but also guarding your mental input, the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the environments you inhabit. A man who controls himself is a man who commands presence. Confidence isn't just about what you say, it's how you carry yourself every moment. Maintaining these boundaries creates a powerful aura that draws respect because it shows mastery over yourself and your surroundings. When these 6 boundaries, time, honesty, emotional limits, values, demanding respect, and physical and mental discipline are firmly in place, respect isn't something you chase. It comes naturally because you live with clarity, integrity, and strength. Women see a man who is intentional, authentic, emotionally balanced, principled, self-respecting, and disciplined. That man doesn't beg for respect. He commands it simply by being himself without apology. Respect is never accidental. It's the consequence of the boundaries you set and the man you become. When you enforce these lines firmly, you stop seeking approval and start living on your terms. That respect opens doors to meaningful relationships built on trust, admiration, and genuine connection. Most importantly, it leads to the deepest respect of all, the respect you have for yourself. Would you like me to polish this further or turn it into a full speech? Boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They're about inviting the right people in. When you stand firm, you don't push women away. You draw on the ones who appreciate a man of conviction, clarity, and strength, and that respect, it's lasting. Want me to help you expand any keynote or turn this into a full speech?